Sonic and Mario are both franchises that have been now successful in their own right. They competed against each other in the 90s until Sega became multi-platform, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and blah blah blah. We all know this story, but it seems like this rivalry has kind of been revived lately with the release of the latest Sonic Racing game, Sonic Racing Crossroads, alongside Nintendo's latest game in the Mario Kart series, Mario Kart World. This oddly also happened in 2023 with Sonic Superstars releasing a week away from Super Mario Bros. Wonder, both games being the revival of their franchises to the entries, but almost everybody believed that Super Mario Bros. Wonder was better than Sonic Superstars. However, we are now in a different place, where both games were kind of more balanced, since the Sonic game had a great reception this time and the Mario game is a little more controversial. And oh boy, if you imagine a school cafeteria in the 90s where the Sega kids and the Nintendo kids were in a food war, well, that has been Twitter since Sonic Racing Crossroads was released. Everyone fighting against each other like crazy over which game was better. It's a war zone. But it sparkles a question in the middle of the Sonic fanbase with this. Should we even compare Sonic to Mario in the first place? Some people say that yes, we should compare Sonic to Mario, and the ones that tell you otherwise are just shielding themselves from criticism, while others say no, we shouldn't compare Sonic to Mario, and if you do, you are being nitpicky and negative. But I think we need to be more critical of the situation. Yeah, I know, how difficult for us Sonic fans. The question in our mind shouldn't be if we should compare Sonic to Mario in the first place. Rather, I will go with the more interesting question. When should we compare Sonic to Mario? We can't compare everything about these franchises because they are different. But we also shouldn't compare them at all because they're similar. Let me explain. Today, I will break down examples of how Sonic fans should really treat those kinds of comparisons. So let's take a look at how the markets work for both franchises as a key example. Sonic the Hedgehog is a franchise that is primarily known in the West, which is another way of saying no one knows the man in his own country, while Mario is a titan in popularity in Japan, which Nintendo gets a lot of sales from. But that's just one little example. Why don't we look for something more major about these franchises? Oh yeah, Mario is a brand exclusive to Nintendo consoles, while Sonic is multi-platform. Mario never really had a rocky history in the same way that Sonic has. Mario is primarily a gaming franchise, only with one movie out yet, and always had good mainline games coming out in the eyes of the general public. Sonic had no good games in the eyes of the public for 11 years, and 5 of those years had no games, which is thankfully not the case anymore with Sonic Frontiers, which broke the cycle. However, one game can't really save a franchise's public reception. If you ask me, it generally depends, but it can be a long recovery sometimes, one that we are very close to competing through my lens of knowing the franchise. But Sonic is more known for the multimedia aspect than anything. Sonic was known as a character that led to a successful movie, with some accidental help through the design changes at that led to the new fans of the series. With the Mario movie, it was more of a case of taking the leverage built with Mario's success and turning it into a successful movie. I don't mean that the Mario movie didn't introduce new fans, but the reason people came to the Mario movie was because it was a movie of Mario himself. However, the Sonic movies were far more into the idea that, yeah, Sonic seems cool, people like the movie, whatever. If I can get my point straight here, and I could go on and on and on with Sonic Racing Crossroads and how Sonic Racing spin-offs are far less popular than freaking Mario Kart. But you get the point. We shouldn't compare Sonic to Mario when it comes to that. Even getting Sonic Racing Crossroads sales alongside Mario Kart Worlds is insane to begin with, and it's really flat out ignoring all the nuance there is to the marketable franchises. But now, let's look at the other side of the picture, the things that are similar about these franchises, with the case study of gameplay and history. So, Sonic was originally created to compete with Mario, but times have changed, and by that I mean Sonic is multi-platform, and they're different now. But the history of both games and quality is a completely different story altogether. So why don't we look at the both cases of Sonic Superstars and Mario Wonder, and more recently Sonic Racing Crossroads and Mario Kart World? So, Sonic Superstars and Mario Wonder were basically doing the same thing, bringing back their 2D franchises a second time, but now with more novelty, style, new additions, bringing in new visuals and gimmicks. It is essentially the same thing. In that moment, we should absolutely compare both franchises to each other, because they are doing the exact same thing. It's actually crazy. It feels like someone went to the other's headquarters to find the idea and copy it, which in that case would clearly be Sega. And that's the problem. I can confidently say that if that were to have happened, it would have been Sega because of how their game is just less polished in looks. It's just very mobile game-ish. And according to other people, not me, I do not own Sonic Superstars, the game is worse than Mario Wonder, which is a game I actually own and find it very well designed. And yes, at moments like this, we should compare Sonic to Mario, because we no longer have the same problems as before, because this one is actually constructive. Mario Wonder was given unlimited development time. The developer's words, not mine, and likely had a very high budget and a lot of developers working on it. On the other hand, we have Sega, which very likely didn't have that luxury. Now, when we compare both games, we are giving Sega the feedback to treat Sonic Team and other developers the similar way to Nintendo and how they did it with Mario Wonder. We are being constructive. And the same thing counts for Mario Kart World and Sonic Racing Crossroads. There's good feedback to be taken here. Even though both games might have more different visions this time, Crossroads being more arcadey, while Mario Kart World is trying to go more open world with that stuff. But comparing them in that regard can be constructive. How kart racers should build more movement options, how to change the 3-lap style of racing, and many more things. In conclusion, I think the Sonic fanbase is not treating Mario comparisons the correct way. There are indeed good ways to compare Sonic to Mario that lead to something good for both franchises. However, I believe there are also other ones that simply hold both franchises back and lead to no result at all, really. I hope you like this video, and if you do, then please like and subscribe. And with all that said, bye bye.